Most AI outputs feel generic because the AI doesn't know your business, your offers, your clients, your tone, none of it. But instead of having to feed the AI all of this context every single time, I used Andre Karpathy's idea of LLM knowledge bases, which got over 20 million views on Twitter. I built an agency brain, one knowledge base that Claude reads before every task. Now, every output is specific to my business from the first prompt. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to build it, and I'll give you the entire template for free. So here's a Claude Code instance which is connected to that folder in which I've set up this whole agency brain. Because all the information is neatly organized and connected with all other relevant information, I can ask Claude Code very specific questions, and without using up too much context, it can get me very specific answers based on things that I've actually taught it. So if I ask it a question like, what are the next steps with Priya Nair, which is one of my clients, but the name has been changed, it went ahead and searched that exact file and gave me the output for what I have to send her for this week, what he has to send me, what the second call is going to be about, and what the first builds are that we have planned for that second call. Now, I could have done this inside a Claude project by just dumping in all of the files one after another, but it would not have had this level of organization, and Claude would have to read through a lot more information before getting me something specific. And based on the information that I feed it, I can even ask this agency brain very specific questions about very specific clients, like what tools would Priya benefit from using. All it had to do was search through the files, find these specific tools, see what else is being planned, see what decisions are pending, and what gaps are worth flagging. So you can get an idea of how powerful this is. So what exactly is the agency brain, or the LLM wiki or knowledge base concept? In very simple terms, it's just a very organized way to store your information. So it's not RAG, it's not a vector database, it's just organized markdown files, which you can see visualized here in Obsidian. Now, the biggest advantage of using markdown files is that you can very specifically connect one concept to another. Whereas if you were using RAG or a vector database, all of your content would just be dumped into a database with some metadata, and then you would be relying on the AI to find similarities between your queries and what's in the vector database. Here, you can physically map the connections between disparate pieces of information, which allows you to put your business knowledge and your experience and actually map concepts together in a way that an AI might not be able to do by itself. This idea has gone incredibly viral. In the last 2 weeks, it's gotten nearly 20 million views. A lot of people have made different videos about it, but very few people are actually talking about how you can utilize something like this in a real business or agency. So as an agency, we're going to be setting up 3 layers. One will belong to you, and the AI will help us set up 2. Layer 1 are going to be raw sources like call transcripts, email threads, PDFs and articles, meeting notes, research docs, all of this. The AI is then going to ingest all of this information, cut it up into multiple pieces, link multiple pieces together automatically every single time. The end result is a wiki, which contains clients, leads, decisions, tools, concepts, research, and templates all linked together. So when we get to layer 3, which is you can drop in even more sources. You can directly run commands and query your wiki and get very specific output. So any business with long-running relationships, clients, cases, portfolios, patients, recurring raw inputs like calls, filings, emails, reports, transcripts, multiple interconnected entities like people, tools, decisions, timelines, all of this can benefit from using the LLM wiki. Now, you might imagine that setting up all of this is fairly complex, so I've gone ahead and created a master prompt that you can just input into Claude Code, and it'll flesh out the entire wiki for you, ready for you to drop in your sources and your information and let it start generating connections. There's a link to that in the description below. And if you're interested in working with me one-on-one to build systems like these for your business, there's an application link in the description. Go ahead and fill that out and we can chat. And I'd love to get in touch. Now, the secret backbone to get this up and running really quickly is a tool called Obsidian, which is a really powerful note-taking tool that allows you to build connections between notes and really visualize them in a very powerful way. So go ahead to obsidian.md, download Obsidian and set it up. Now, once you fire it up, it's going to ask you to either create a new vault or choose an existing folder of markdown files and use that as a vault. I'm going to click create a new vault. Let's give it a name. I'll just call it YouTube and choose a location. So on my desktop, I'm just going to go ahead and create a new folder called YouTube Vault. Click create, hit open, and I'm going to click create. And this is going to flesh out that vault for us. Now here it is, all up and running. Let's close the old one and we'll start up the terminal. And inside the terminal, I'm going to start a new Claude Code session by typing in Claude. We've initialized Claude Code inside that same folder that we're using as the Obsidian vault. So first off, we're going to drop in this document by Andre Karpathy, which is available on his GitHub. I'll drop a link in the description if you want to get it from there. So just hit copy, paste it in. And then go ahead and grab the Build from Scratch LLM Agency Wiki prompt. This is a comprehensive set of instructions that I've designed, which you can use to get this up and running for your agency. It has a set folder structure. It's got a sample Claude.md file. It shows exactly how to format each page, as well as some special commands that you can use in Claude Code to do very specific things. Just go ahead and copy all of this, paste it in Claude Code. We have a fairly long prompt, and then just let it do its thing. It might ask you for some confirmations in between, so just go ahead and answer the questions and do those confirmations. create the Claude.md file, create the index file, the log file, create the overview file. Essentially, these are all templates that Claude Code will use to ingest any information that you give it. All right, so in just under 2 minutes, it created all the files and folders that I need. And if we open up Obsidian, we'll see that our basic scaffolding is all ready to go. Now, the next step is where the magic really happens, and that is where we drop in raw information and ask Claude Code to ingest everything. So I've got a bunch of files here, from discovery calls to email threads, and even a transcript of a comprehensive Claude Code course by Nick Sarieff. Shout out to Nick. Let's go ahead and copy that. Head over to our vault, and inside the raw folder, I'm just going to drop in all of these files. And then I'm going to tell Claude to ingest everything, hit enter, and as Claude Code runs, let's open up Obsidian and watch the magic happen. And there it is, new nodes popping up in Obsidian as the AI ingests our data and expands our wiki. And you'll notice that as it expands, it's actually building out connections between multiple disparate entities. Right, so in just under 10 minutes, we now have a fully interconnected LLM wiki/second brain. Now we can go ahead and ask Claude Code very specific things and get our plans. For example, what should I be doing next week? And really quickly, based on everything in the wiki, here's your week of April 21st to 25th, and it gave me a very detailed plan. Now I could just go ahead and ask more specific questions about each one of these, and it could keep going deeper and deeper. I could ask it to help me generate proposals, invoices, contracts, anything that I need related to my client. Now using Obsidian, we can see how this system actually gets even more powerful the more information that you add to it. With every new piece of information, every new transcript, every new email, every new article, every new YouTube video that you like, that you feed into this, it's going to break it up into pieces and build connections to what's already there. So let's say you were working with a client and then suddenly you found a solution that you felt would fit this client's problem very easily. You could go ahead and drop an article or a YouTube video transcript or whatever into your raw folder. The AI is going to understand that, and it will realize that these entities are related to that client, and it's actually going to go ahead and build those connections for you. So let's say you start working on your next proposal for that client, or your next deliverable, or your next roadmap, or your next one-on-one call. It's actually going to be able to reference all of that and include it in the output that it gives you. And because everything is so well organized, it's actually quite efficient. However, like with all things, there are some limitations. So number one, there is a certain sweet spot after which the system will get too clunky because there's just too many files for the AI to handle. The second issue is that you're really dependent on Claude Code to talk to this. Number three is that this is async by nature. You have to drop in the raw files and then you have to actually ingest them and query it manually to get all the information. The time and effort that you're really saving is collecting all that information and presenting it, which the AI is going to do automatically for you. And finally, the overall quality of any output that you get from this wiki will really depend on the quality of the input that you give it. So the more in-depth transcripts and calls and emails and articles that you can feed it, the more in-depth and actual real-life examples the AI will be able to provide you. So when you set this up and you have a blank screen in front of you, start small and gradually build up. Start with your core offer, your core SOPs, your core email templates, and have the wiki ingest those, and then slowly start adding your existing clients, your previous clients, your repeat clients, until you're fairly satisfied you have a fairly complex web. That'll give you a robust enough level of connections to start really making the most out of the system as you use it more. So don't try to document everything at once. Even in this example, I only started with 10 files, so give it a few files at a time. And once that initial setup is done, you can complete the ingestion process immediately after a client call is done. Just grab the transcript from a meeting transcription app like Fathom, drop it into the raw folder, ask the AI to ingest it, and the call is already organized and set into your knowledge. Just a quick reminder that the link for the application form to work with me one-on-one is in the description. And if you're looking for more passive help and access to a growing library of ready-to-use automations that you can plug into your business, there's a link to my school community in the description. You can check it out there.